Let's just be honest.
So we're going to start with Chris. When you first started your dealership, did you begin the dealership? Did your parents start the dealership? Did you have a loan from a family member? Did you have some assets you were able to loan against? How did it all kick off to what you have today?
I received a $100,000 loan / investment from my uncle. I moved 300 miles away from my home and expected to be able to continue working where I was working. And I had a mortgage. I had my first baby on the way. And my previous employer basically told me that our arrangement wouldn't work kind of last minute. So I found a little office in front of a dentist office that I rented for $500 a month. I got a dealer license and I put 3 cars outside and I just kept repeating.
And today you are sitting at, on average, how many cars sold per month?
115, 2 locations, plus a full retail service center.
That's crazy. That is wild. So when you first started your dealership, did you have a loan, great credit, savings, assets? How did it kick off for you? Because I know this was something that you started and it wasn't handed down to you.
Correct. Yes. When I started the dealership, I cashed my IRA, my 401k into an IRA. And at that point, cashed the IRA, paid the taxes, and bought $8,000 worth of cash cars, which is about 20 cars roughly.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rented a little mobile home and had one employee and just kind of ran it by phone. At that point, you just kind of grew the business.
And where are you at today, sales-wise, monthly?
Average month we're right at 140 retail with a high of 176 this year, and full service center, 8 mechanics. Just trying to grow.
And how many years later is it?
Just my 9th year. Started in 2016.
And Chris, how many years have you been in business?
10.
10 years.
11th year. We opened April 1st. My son was born March 7th, and we opened April 1st.
Have you ever had a moment where you look back and wish, God, I just wish I would have done that differently? I felt like I could have exploded way sooner.
Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. And if I knew it was going to be what it was, I never would have started. So I'm happy it worked out exactly how it worked out.
And Ricky, how about you? Was there ever a point that you wish, if you could go back a decade or more and say, I wish I would have done this differently? Was there something there that stands out to you?
Yeah. When I first started to try, no matter how much knowledge you have, when I would go to the lenders to try to get a loan, even though I could show them the book of work I was doing with the dealership, I always got turned down. I could not get the loan to charge. I wish, and what ended up helping me be able to do that was getting the rental property for equity. Initially, when we finally started growing the business, I equity from the rental property to get capital to be able to do it. Then once I had 2 or 3 years under my belt, then I could take that back to the lender, and finally they would participate with me.
Okay. What's the secret to getting more and more lenders? You have so many lenders. Either one of you can answer that.
Volume. They don't want you unless you got volume.
Ricky?
1,000% volume.
1,000% volume.
How much you can do for them. And then once you sign up with them, funnel all the deals you can to that new lender. Show them that they didn't make a mistake on it.
Got it.
Awesome.
What was the best thing you did that first year in business that you look back and you say, wow, that was a good move right there. That helped me tremendously set up a strong foundation?
Are you talking to me or Chris?
Either one.
I don't think it was the first. So learning, really, when I opened, I'm not going to say it was pre-Facebook because it wasn't, but it was pre-group. So like I was literally like in old school forums reading about subprime financing. I knew nothing about it. I was a new car broker, which is like a popular thing in the New York City area, but it's not really known anywhere else. So I basically sat in an office and sold new whatever to our repeat clients that we had for 15 years. if we took a train, I sold it, but that was the extent of my used car prowess. So I just learned. I would say the biggest foundation was just listening to peers and reading and learning.
Ricky, what were you doing outside the car before you started the dealership?
I was general manager of a Hyundai dealership. I've been with that owner since 2003. And 2016 talked him into giving me this opportunity to the only way I could get him to let me start my own lot was to run it literally by phone. I hired someone, I bought the cars on my day off. I went to auctions on my day off.
Wow.
Whenever I sold the cars from the first year, every single dollar of every car I sold went back to get another car. That's how I lived off of my income from the job number one, and job number two was every car sold, I got another car, and just kept trying to build it, grow and grow and grow and grow. But looking back, if I could have done it differently, like answer your question, I would have left that job and come down here, and I would have been the guy selling the car, doing the car, cleaning the car. I would have done it that way, and I would be further in that right now.
Interesting. First of all, what investments do you have outside of the car business? Chris, we'll start with you.
Not a ton at this point, a little bit of real estate. I own 2 of the 3 locations that we operate out of. Mm-hmm. And I just flipped a piece of dirt that I was going to build a store on, and instead I sold it to a Dollar General. But really nothing. I just keep investing in me.
And Ricky, what investments do you have outside of the car business?
Well, in 2008, when the financial crash happened, when I worked for General Motors selling GM cars, I got my 401k statement one day, and I told my wife, I said, if it ever gets back to the number that we had prior to this, I'm cashing this out, betting on myself. So it was 7 or 8 years. Finally, it come back to that number. We flipped it to the IRA. And since that point, I don't have anything invested in anything other than us, our rental property. We have 85 tenants. We own the service center, 3 buildings, car dealership. And I'm all in on me every day, not taking the chance on anyone else, just me. What we can do as a family.
You both had extremely similar answers. Okay, about betting on yourselves and going all in on yourself. So what was the biggest risk that you took in business? Is there a moment that stands out to you where you're like, dang, this just better pay off because I don't know what I'm going to do if this doesn't work?
I mean, the way I jumped, like I said, we moved almost 300 miles away, and I took my first mortgage, and I had a baby coming any day. And so that was it. After we moved first location, my rent factor went from like $600 to like $5,000. That was a difference. That was a scary moment. But the initial was way more scary than anything since. Once you overcome that, the rest is bullshit.
How do you have such a fearless mindset? Is this just part of your DNA? Like a lot of dealers are so terrified to take a risk and wonder why things aren't moving as quickly as they'd like it to move. How are you so?
For better and worse, I've always been a gambler. And once I pivoted from sports to myself, it worked out much better.
All right, talk to me a little bit about the failures in the business. Something that you tried that just completely didn't pan out like you had hoped.
TV advertising. Flop. Radio advertising, huge flop. I just had to fire my finance manager of 8 years because she decided alcohol was more important than money. So that was a huge flop. Everything else is just learning. It's not, when you're in I guess the easiest way to say that is none of them are really failures. When you're in subprime financing, 70% of your customer base can't buy a car. So you're failing 70% of the time, no matter what. So it's all just learning and moving forward.
Ricky, was there a time that you had that just didn't pan out the way you had thought, that some may look as a look at it like a failure? 'Cause it just didn't work out like you had hoped?
Well, when COVID happened
Mm-hmm.
and they set our tape down, the new car store I worked at, it literally closed except for service centers that opened after they were deemed important. At that point, the bills started to stack up and I had to come to work literally with a mask by myself, and all the staff that we had, we only had 3 people, but they couldn't come to work. Our bills were piling up. At that point, what I struggled with is once we were open back up, I couldn't get people to come back to work because they wanted to draw the check, the guaranteed money from the government, the unemployment match. So that's what led me to stepping away from the new car store. And really, my biggest thing has been people that no matter how much I want something for someone, I can't make people want it for themselves. And my struggle was staying invested in the wrong people for too long a time, thinking I could change things, and I could change. You can't make people give a damn. Either they got that or they don't. They want something or they don't. You can't want it for long.
Okay.
I struggle with that a lot.
Okay, and let's get to some stressful situations here in the dealership. Has there ever been a time where you had to make, aside from hiring, that you had to make a very large stressful decision, whether it was about moving money, buying cars, properties? What is there anything that when you look back, you're like, God, I was this was a hard one. This was a hard decision to make. I mean, I guess it could be hiring and firing.
Gotcha. Well, when we just had the mobile home, the property came available behind me, the White House, which you've seen.
Yes.
And it was literally a lady living in it, and she got put, I guess, in a home. Family sold the property. It was nerve-wracking trying to make family buy it. And then once I bought it, spending the money to gravel it, make it function as a car lot, that initial debt made me really nervous. But we got it rocking. So that really wasn't too bad. But then the dealer beside of us, the showroom, for whatever reason, that dealership just didn't make it. And they approached me. Actually, they sold it to another dealer who approached me about purchasing it. And, we just had China on cruise control, debt-wise. And then we took on this behemoth. That was the most stressful thing for me is staring at.
And what kind of payment was that you took on?
The mortgage payment, $17,500 a month.
17.5. Okay.
It's actually the easiest thing to handle the mortgage payment. It's the additional payments that people don't realize. Well, my lot insurance bill, it went from 30 to 50,000. The utilities quadrupled. They went 5 times. The mortgage interest just went wild. To fill it, we have close to 16 acres. So to try to fill it with inventory, the mortgage interest went tears. Everything, property tax. You get a property tax bill here in October, it's $40,000 to just fill it. Just the things that workers' comp insurance, everything just literally went to the moon about the time that the reset happened with the inventory about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And that was the real eye-opener for me was what, there's 1 week there, Black Food dropped, that our first dropped 15-20%.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I was upside down. I was just trying to fake deals and just to move units, take my cash to get out from under that negative equity, that the water that I had through stars, which is what led me to, and I had a manager quit, which is probably never happened. It's what led me to really get focused into credit acceptance, to where I use that as inventory control and just make deals, moving things. So take them, this is the auction, lose $3,000. I may take a $1,000 loser, $800 loser, $500 loser with credit acceptance, banking on the opportunity one day to get that back. And which I'm a year away from hopefully reaping the benefits of that, but it worked. It was just not setting on stale inventory. I went from an average inventory of 160 days, my average unit in stock.
Okay.
And I looked this morning and our average unit's 46 days. So it's all about the turn.
Okay. Very interesting. That is a huge stressful jump. Okay. So what do you know what it costs for you every day you wake up and you arrive at the dealership just to unlock the door? Do you know what it costs just to turn the lights on every day? Chris, do you happen to know that?
Are we talking working days or calendar days?
Working days.
Working days is about 14,000 between the two locations.
Wow. Ricky, do you know what yours is?
It costs 14,000 a day.
Yeah, for him to unlock the door every day.
I've not dove into exactly that. I know I've joked about, different things like just utilities.
Yeah.
$1,000 a day, $1,200 every Monday just for electric. The lot insurance is $60,000. It's $1,000 every Monday for insurance.
Wow.
Just for, there's so many different things, but I'm not jumping.
What was his number? I can't even
deal.
He said his electric bill is $1,200 every Monday. But he's not sure of the exact figure to unlock his door every day.
Okay. Yeah, my note's about $350 a month, 25, 26 working days. Bad was 14.
Incredible. Wow. Okay. So have you ever gotten yourself in a major financial hole in the car business? I'm not talking about just losing your ass on a car, but where you were like, I don't even know how we're going to make payroll this upcoming week. Like things are really tight. Was there any moments like that where it was like, Jesus, I don't even know how we're going to keep this thing going?
When I first started, I remember I got my first $10,000 parts bill from Advanced Auto Parts, probably about a year in, 8 months in. And I had not assured myself. I didn't know how I was going to do that. But since then, no, the financial part, like I said, so my mentality is just more of a gambler, but also I'm also a math guy and definitely the chess player. So my issue isn't so much the financial side. My big gambles at this point, I feel like they're all like bandwidth, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you add a location, there's only so much you can spread yourself out. And so now we have 3 locations and dabbling in some other stuff. So it all sounds good when everything is running really well. But like last week, I had to fire my finance guy. So now I'm sitting at the desk, right? So now I'm not anywhere else. Right. So now I'm doing that job plus my regular job, plus I'm now not at the other 2 places. So for me, it's less about the financial element. It's more about the bandwidth element and how to kind of navigate that stuff.
What is a day in your life typically when you're not sitting at the finance desk? You're making rounds at all your locations? You're checking in with staff? Take me through your average morning. Let's start with that.
Yeah, typically, first thing I try to do is I try to put my kids on the bus. And then so I usually show up at the store about 9:30. Computer work done before I leave. And then, make rounds, touch everybody, make sure everybody's in good spirits, decent, check floor plans, check fundings, check bank accounts, make sure the money's where it's supposed to be as best we can. See if there's any crises going on, try to put out whatever fires happen to be burning at the moment, and then kind of rinse and repeat afterwards.
Got it.
And then I do my best to be home for the bus, which hasn't happened yet this year, but it'll happen.
Let's go into that a little bit. So you've got a young family. How do you manage so many hours? The car business is notorious for being super long hours, bell to bell in many cases, at least it was when I came up in the business. How do you manage a young family at that, and running a dealership, multiple rooftops?
I have fantastic teams, and literally that's it.
So all to the team.
The other way.
What's that?
I said it's impossible to do it without the team. I try to tell Ricky to ease off and to parse out some other stuff, but he's chasing and he's in high speed chasing the mortgages. So, but I try to tell him to take some stuff off his plate. It costs more, but it pays in the long run, in my opinion.
Ricky, I know you are a serial entrepreneur. It doesn't matter if it's 7 o'clock in the morning, 2 a.m. You're constantly on your phone with your team. It's all work, all hours of the day. Have you always been such a serial entrepreneur, or you feel like you have to be that way in order to maintain the success that you've had?
I mean, starting back from the dealership days, we would go in at 8:30 and leave at 9. Just started the rental properties. I couldn't hire anybody. So I would leave the dealership literally at 9, change clothes, sometimes in the restroom, and go paint apartments or hang ceiling things, do drywall repair, lay flooring to 2, 3, 4 in the morning in order to, because I had to make the mortgage payment. There was nobody to control all this or do that. So it's just always been that way. And I was 6 days a week at the dealership. And then a lot of times on Sundays I travel for auctions. But, a lot of people reach out to me and the messenger different things and ask how you do this, do that. But typically when I give that answer, I think it overwhelms them and its critics. That it sounds great. Everybody wants to do something until they see what it takes to do it. And then all of a sudden they can figure out a different way. They don't have to work that hard. I feel it is what a lot of people's looking for. I don't have no secret answer. You just got to hustle and go after it.
Okay, good. So, Chris, do you set boundaries, or are you just a 24/7 kind of guy, that type of entrepreneur too, and it's just all you know? Or do you set boundaries? Like, I'm going to put my phone away. I'm going to just turn off and shut off.
Nothing is black and white. So, no, I don't turn my phone off. I'm buying cars on auction all night. I'm an ACV guy, so my phone's always going. But I do my best to keep work stress at work. I try to be present when I'm home as best I can.
Do you think that, Ricky, for you, do you think that this is what you'll do for the rest of your life? Or what's your game plan? Do you have a 5, 10? What does the future look like for you? You think you're going to die at this desk?
Yeah, I love this. It's not even work. Like I see people digging ditches and working on the side of the roads and different things. And I'm just like, that's work. I pay for this. It's everything.
Chris, I have a feeling your answer will be different. He said that he will definitely die at the desk.
Well, I better not. I'll be really fucking pissed off. I want to die by the pool with a drink in my hand and my wife next to me, and that's it.
He had the opposite answer you did, Ricky.
That's all good. I love Chris.
I know.
I want somebody to be real. Not tell me what I want to hear.
Yeah, I'm past that shit, man. I've been in the car business since I'm like 18 years old. I had enough. If I could quit now, I'd quit now.
So has the car business, Chris, has it ever cost you friendships? Has it ever, I mean, I know you're happily married, presuming this is your one and only marriage. Has it ever cost you a relationship, a friendship, a partnership?
No. It's just a grind though. Like, it's just not fun. It's at the end of the day, there's parts of it that are fun for sure. Making money is always fun, right? Let's not sugarcoat it. There's real estate, there's stocks, there's AI now, and there's cars. I mean, I don't know of any other better businesses in the world, but no, the grind isn't fun. I don't enjoy the grind. I don't enjoy any of that. I don't enjoy people I can't help them. I don't enjoy telling people they need 5Gs up. I enjoy getting it done, making money, and being able to build a future for my family. But the car business itself, I don't give a shit.
It's about the income. It's about the.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's,
So Ricky, you're so funny over there. You're so optimistic and happy over there. And Chris is like, I fucking hate this business. So, Ricky, with all of your success in the car business, it's easy for you to show up every day because you just love it so much. Does your spouse say you work too much?
Does Amos, you think I work too much?
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's ready for a house or a condo in Florida, but we're just not there yet. We have, like I told you in private conversation that we had one time, we don't have anyone. We have to make it. There is no one to call. There is no olive branch anywhere. No person to reach out to. So it's just, we got to grind. And that's the thing that that I have to remind myself every day. Gotta stay out front of it.
Chris, when did you first have that feeling like, I think I made it? Like, I think this is legit. Like,
I'm not sure I did yet.
Interesting answer. Okay. What is something that you...
The goalpost keeps moving through you. Like, and that sounds so cliche. You didn't say,
Oh, I know.
a little cringy. I don't use like that. But I think part of what drives you is the need to do better. But what drives me is the need to do better. And, there's sayings on social media now of that down. And it's like, you already swore you'd be happy if you achieved this. And that's so true for me. That's 40 cars. There was like a huge milestone, and then 50 and 60 and 70 and 80 and 90. And now it's like 150. I'm not there yet. So I don't really know.
What's the biggest financial purchase that you ever made for yourself? Not for your wife, not for your family, not for the dealership, just for you.
A car, a Range Rover.
A Range Rover? So you seem so excited.
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
I don't care about cars. Yeah, I don't really care. It's like, it's funny.
Yeah. What about you, Ricky?
I like the freedom, but I don't care about the items.
Oh, say that again. So it's not about what? Go ahead.
And I said I like the freedom, but it's not about the items.
Okay. So, Ricky, was there anything that you went all out, just a baller purchase just for yourself? Not for your wife, not for the dealership.
No, I don't buy anything for me. Everything's for the family. That's my goal. I love seeing everybody else happy. I'm good.
No fancy car. No guilty pleasures.
Empathy's got a fancy Corvette that I've ridden it 3 times.
Okay. And that's hers?
Or like 3 miles. That's a thing to me.
Do you ever feel like because you feel maybe perhaps married to the dealership in so many ways, do you ever feel more married to the dealership than you do with your spouse?
No.
Chris, how many hours do you sleep on average?
I'd say 5 or 6.
Okay. Ricky, as a serial entrepreneur, dealership owner, operator, how many hours do you sleep on average?
My day starts in like 7, and I typically go till 1, 2, 3. So it just depends, but a really good night's sleep, probably 5 hours would be a great night's sleep.
There's no way that's true.
Yeah.
I think it's less than that.
So it may be, but that's, getting older, you wake up in the middle of the night, which is terrible. True, but it's not an option for me. So I do wake up quite a bit, but I did take a vacation and relaxed a couple weeks ago for our 29th anniversary Amity Night Subway, Florida. It was nice, but I still take calls. Like, my thing is, I want to put off the fires of meetings. So if something's important, I would rather take a 5 to 10 minute phone call instead of and answer and give people direction and not have to come back to huge problems.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is eliminated before it gets big. Okay.
Okay.
I would think you're like that too. Seeing you run your business here, you like to jump on it and get ahead of whatever's going on.
Okay, so do you think, so you don't feel like you're ever going to truly retire? Have you ever, through all the long years in the car business, did you ever pick up a dirty habit like smoking, energy drinks, way too much caffeine? Or have you ever beaten a habit in the car? Well, none of us are beating habits in the car business. We're all freaking finding new addictions to get through the day. Actually, I left the car business without getting addicted to drugs or alcohol, and I thought that was a pretty big win because everybody around me was either addicted to pills, coke, alcohol, and I actually can say I left the car business with no debt, no pills, no drugs of any kind, no alcohol. So I'm proud of that.
You're boring as shit.
So, Ricky, what have you picked up along the way?
Oh, when I first started the car business, I started smoking. I actually smoked like 3 packs a day.
You were smoking, Ricky?
If you count like the in-between puffs first, you light it, throw away. But then when Orion was born, he's 1. He was premature a month early. He only weighed 4 pounds. And so the long hours of the car business, and I would basically go out to the garage or outside to smoke. And I was like, I'm done with this. So literally, he may be 2 or 3 weeks old, and I quit smoking. I haven't smoked since. But I do love Kentucky bourbon. That is my passion to say. I limit myself. I do have energy drinks, but yeah, no drugs. No, I love to gamble. Probably probably a reason it's so easy to bet on myself is because I bet on other people. I have no control of the situation. So definitely a gambler. 100% gambler. That's my favorite. I love going to Vegas. I love everything about Vegas. Except
I hate Vegas.
There.
What about it?
Oh, God. I was just in Vegas, and I absolutely despise Vegas. It's just no fun to me.
Really? You didn't enjoy the shows?
The shows, yeah, the shows and the food, but I mean the gambling and just I grew up in New York City, and I was never. I'm over it. I'm over it. Chris, when you get a second,
Charlie Kirk just got assassinated. Did you hear that?
What? Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, just now.
Oh my God! Hold on, I gotta look it up. Was it at one of the, oh my God. It was at one of the colleges, huh? I figured. Oh my God. Rick, you know who Charlie Kirk is, don't you?
Did someone shoot him?
Yeah. It says shot during an event at Utah Valley University.
Yeah. I look for a lot of people. That's going to happen a lot next couple of years. You'll see a lot of this. Unfortunately.
Wow. 12:10, a shot was fired at the visiting speaker, Charlie Kirk, the university said in a statement.
Information that he's dead, Jay, or no?
Is he alive?
No.
I don't know. Is he alive or not, Chris?
No.
No?
No way. I just saw the video. No, that's horrific. No, the video's out. He got shot right in the throat. He's dead, for sure.
It's terrible.
Oh my God.
See, all the shit we stress is not the shit that any of us need to be stressing.
Are you sure he's dead?
Did you see the video?
No.
Find the video.
It's terrible.
Jay, text me that.
Oh my God. Have you ever had a customer come into your dealership with a gun or act totally outrageous? Because I certainly have had many instances of that, and especially in buy here, pay here, your model's a little bit different.
A lot of that guy's threatening, I'll drive through the showroom and shit, but never anything legit. And then, of course, you see that stuff online now, which is really bonkers. But
anything with you, Ricky? I know you're not out doing repos like we were, but any crazy customers coming in there?
One morning when I was GSM at a Chevy dealership, I pulled up and got out of my truck, walking in, and I was met by a customer maybe 7 or 8 steps out of my truck. And we'd sold him a vehicle and had a chip in the windshield. Really simple. And
guys, I got to jump off.
Sorry, Chris. I totally get it. I'll see you later.
Be good.
Yeah.
Stay the jury.
And I took a few steps out of my truck, and this guy, he could just tell he was agitated bad. And he said that he was going to kill me over this chip in this windshield. And I talked to him, I talked him down, calmed him down, said, hey, we'll be happy to take care of it. We didn't know it was there. Even if it wasn't there, we'll make it right. And he actually literally came back another time and threatened our used car manager and said that he was going to lay with a rifle across the street from his house in a field and shoot him like I'll work. And lots of times I don't pay attention to these threats, but this gentleman actually ended up taking his own life not too long after that. So if he would killed us, definitely would have killed us or hurt us. He didn't care. It's just a terrible deal. And just some people you just can't, you don't know what they're thinking or what's going through their mind.
Yeah, definitely. Now, on we had on all of our desks, curious if you have this at yours, we had the emergency 911 buttons because, we were true buy here, pay here. What are the precautions that you take in the dealership just in case something completely wild happens and you can prevent something really, truly bad from happening?
That idea that you just mentioned there is brilliant. I've never heard anything like that before, but I could see where that would be deal. We literally, of course, Kentucky, love you with guns. Customers have guns. We have guns. You hope nothing like that, but a lot of folks here have firearms, and that would be unfortunately how it would go down. If they were to do something like that, which we hope they don't, wouldn't invite that on anyone, but what your idea of the desk, that's brilliant. So everybody in the dealership had one.
Every single desk in the dealership had one.
So how long did it take for the police typically to respond if you had to hit?
Oh, in St. Petersburg, here in Tampa Bay, I mean, the 911 is here so quickly.
We had a car stolen last week, and I don't know if I told you about that or you saw my post, but the gentleman come in, and we did a couple things wrong, but we at least got the guy's license, and of course, then the audio, the whole conversation. Where here we have cameras with the audio and the video. And he literally pulled in at the Wendy's North store and walked over, got a car and was gone. Come back like in 45 minutes and got the stolen vehicle as well.
Uh-huh.
So when anything on the cameras, she was able to see that. We contacted the police and they were here fairly quick, but we got our car back that evening. Well, they got impounded that evening. Got 2 counts of stealing the car. So I don't understand any of that. But luckily, no firearms, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you could listen, drop there, hit that. They shoot Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, definitely. It got us talking about the customers that sometimes show up to the dealership irate. But luckily, Ricky, your model is a bit different than, not to say that somebody that's completely off their rocker can't just walk in, and what precautions you have in place. I mean, the way that our business operates, and maybe in any business, for any dealership setting, I mean, it's not uncommon for a customer to really get upset about whether it's something small that seems so major to them. And then you look around and you're like, we're in this wide open space. And what is the protocol if something happens? And it's maybe in a weird way, maybe what happened today while we were on this call will make us think about what our processes and procedures are if something does pop off.
100%.
Yeah.
One thing I do with our team, it doesn't have to be a manager. If someone comes in and they're agitated, my goal is to get them de-thrown, just calm down. And it doesn't even really matter about the money within reason. Even if we're in the right, we just try to make them happy. And doing that has really calmed down a lot of the drama with people. Because it's how hard it is to stay upset with somebody who's saying, you know what, we're gonna figure this out. The moment we do that, we reiterate that over and over and over. A lot of times we can come, and then if you can't, it's not about that. There's something else going on that's completely out of our hands. And but yeah, that's just terrible.
Yeah, it is. It's senseless, and he has young children too. I mean, it's terrible all the way around.
Brilliant he could have been a president one day,
What's that?
As brilliant as he was, he could have been a president one day.
Oh, absolutely.
Or definitely a senator or Congress,
Yeah. So in the times that the dealership life, the dealership world, it can be very stressful. How do you not bring that stress back home? We've got a lot of young dealers that'll be watching this and all ages. It's hard not to come home and be like, I was really backwards on this vehicle today. Nothing worked out at the auction. So-and-so didn't show up. Like, how do you decompress before you walk in, or do you decompress before you walk in the house? Or how do you handle that stress at home with your wife and with your kids?
My situation with leaving work and home and separate it with home is a little harder because Bristol answers the phone when she gets out of school, and then on in the summer, and then you got Orion's for selling cars. Maddox is doing details, and now he started hauling people's cars, trades, upset customers, so go pick up their vehicle and bring it to the proper repair shop or the transmission shop. Oh, of all of our family members, the one that wants to talk about work after work is Orion. So I have to say, when we get home, I'm like, all right, we'll deal with that tomorrow. But the problem is I don't initially say that. And we end up talking about it for a few minutes because I still feel like I'm at work when I'm home a lot of times. And I have work there that I continue with the things I couldn't get done. Like Chris was saying, the work day doesn't stop when I go home. Then it starts. So I got to check the floor plan balances. I got to check I got to get ready for payroll. I've got to make sure that all the checks are going to clear. Nothing's going to bounce. Funding's coming in. It sometimes that can take an hour or two just to make sure it's correct. I can skim over it, but a lot of times you get what you put in it back. And I would rather just take the time and do it right instead of letting it stack up on me later in the week and having to fix problems. But it's very hard, very hard. The hardest thing for me is at work with family. If someone watching this, if you can not work with your family, I highly recommend it. And I know some people want to be in the business and that's their dream, and I get it, and that's different. But it's hard to be dad, husband, uncle, nephew when your family all works with you and you got to be the leader and say uncomfortable things, feel them to get the job done sometimes. Very hard.
That is definitely a big part of what you do and all of your family members being involved every day. I mean, we all say, everybody, and I know you feel this way, that it is truly a blessing. And I know you were genuine about that, but it's interesting to hear you say that if you could give somebody advice to not work with family, that you would recommend not to, just because of how hard it can be to make some of those decisions and have those conversations.
I think it hurts the family life to some extent, especially if my son, because you expect so much more from them, especially because they've heard you say it so many times. But like you could be here, for example, in the dealership, and you could look over to Orion and say, hey, Orion, why don't you try this with that customer? And he'll go do it and come back in and be like, Anamaria told me to try this, Dad, and it worked. And I'm sitting there thinking, I've told you that 100 times, but the difference is you told him that and he listened instead of was waiting on me to quit speaking so he could talk again, in my opinion. And that's really, really tough, but
Yeah. Well, it's
and with Matt, like we had an example. I sent him after a vehicle, laid everything out for him just right. And people just in such a hurry, they won't slow down. And you have to work twice as hard when you go super fast. You do it the wrong way the first time. Trust me. And I have to remember, hey, they're young, just relax. But it's very hard.
Do you think that your children, I know that you plan on staying in the dealership for quite a long time because you really enjoy what you do, but do you think that your children will play a greater role in the dealership one day? And really, you'll be able to take more of a back seat?
It's not necessarily that I want to be in the dealership until I'm 100, but at this point in my life, with the mortgages I have and the least time it's going to take to pay them, I'm here for a while. But hopefully at some point, I'd love to see them go do them and enjoy life. And then at some point, if they want to get back in the business, come back in business. But to initially stay in it, I wish they would go do something else and learn. So when they come back to this, they can bring their skill set, what they've learned. I would love to see Orion become a bank rep, maybe with a few different banks. They could have a program in college. I think that he could meet other dealers, and those relationships are priceless that you make in life. Who knows? You may meet a guy or a lady that's got a dealership that may want to retire one day, and he may make the greatest impression ever. And they're like, well, I could get more money, but we would rather see this person who has the dream we had go after it.
Oh, interesting. Or what?
Go after their dream or purchase our dealership, because we know our dream will live on for that person who has the same desires that we have,
Yeah, family is a very interesting dynamic. Now, let's get into some of the numbers, because there are a lot of people that I talk to that call in that need some help with their dealership for some marketing, and they drop your name very often. Oh, I'm not Ricky up there at Wildcat selling hundreds of cars every month. They all know you've made such a wave, a huge splash with your growth and your desire to be forward and forthcoming with the information to help other dealers. How on earth do you feel like aside from obviously a ton of hard work, but how do you feel like you just fast tracked this growth? Well, it may not feel like it to you. There's so many long days, long hours, and a lot of stress. But to everybody watching, Wildcat has just exploded in numbers. How have you been able to do that in such a short amount of time?
Well, I think it all starts with your people, your team, your process. Marketing has played a huge role. Like before, I was from the new car side that I come from. It was, we can't spend this, we can't do that. So I always had to try to achieve everything on super limited budgets. But now it's unbelievable as the market's power. So yeah, the marketing is. And so many people, when they reach out to me, they struggle with it. They want to know, but they don't want to spend money. You cannot grow without spending money. You have to put money out there. It's kind of like spider web. You have to let your spider web go in order to collect. You can't, it's just not going to happen if you don't go after it. And my other thing is, I'm not there to buy a gamble. So I'm betting on ourselves. So I'm thinking, if I send this money out, it's going to bring back such a reward. And it has. It just continues to pay itself off. And you know me, I budgets. I don't mind to spend money because I feel like, opposite of what I was taught, I see the results. Mm-hmm. Owners that I work for weren't in the store. So we would try great ideas. They would be like, okay, try this. And we would have super success with it. And then they didn't want to spend that money yet, but they wanted the same success. And it's just not possible.
So everybody wants to know, and if you feel comfortable, say it. And if you don't, we'll skip over the question. But on average, how many cars a month do you sell on average?
On average, we're between 135 and 140 right now. Last month, we did 176. We've broken the record in July. We've broken our record 4 times this year. This year's just been incredible. But we're coming off back-to-back record months. Like last September, we delivered 101 cars. Currently, we're sitting at 51 sold on the 10th. So we're tracking another 50% increase. I really see the goal is just a few more cars, 180s the next go. And then it'll just be a couple more. I don't do like the 175, 250. Like I want to do achievable goals. Again, places I've worked set unattainable goals. And, you would have incredible months that they didn't get recognized because they weren't what someone thought they could be done that never been that was for.
And then as far as what would you say are your top 2 reasons that you'd contribute to such massive success in these recent years? Top 2 reasons.
Top 2 reasons: team, growing the team, stronger team, and then marketing, social media. Social media has been an absolute game changer for our business, for my wife and I's business here.
Awesome. And then on average, small mom and pop dealerships spend about $1,500 a month on their ad spend. What do you think you spend on average for marketing, and how does those numbers break down? What kind of marketing and what's your average ad spend with that platform or that source?
Our social media spend will come in at this month. I will probably close to $20,000 in social media spend, or a little bit over. We have a couple billboards. They're $800 a month. Car Gurus, $6,000 a month. Auto Trader, I think it's $1,500 a month. Carfax is $3,700 a month.
So is that a combined spend of about 20 grand a month?
No, that's on top of it.
That's on top of your social media.
Yeah, my advertising spend through the first Q1 and Q2 of the year was I averaged probably about $12,000 a week in advertising.
Wow.
Here's what I spent through June.
Okay. An average of $12,000 a week on advertising, roughly, on all platforms and avenues combined.
We double check that. I don't want, you know me in numbers. I don't want to get that.
Yeah, check it. I'll take a sip of my drink.
Yeah. Between $12,000 and $13,000 a week.
Wow.
Or would that be $1,500 a day? Now that's everything. That's every possible scenario. And that does include mine. That includes the Rockstar, DMS, or, elite management as well.
Incredible. So for a lot of dealers, hearing that number is going to completely knock their socks off. So is there any secret metric, new topic, doesn't have to be about marketing, but it can be. What is this? Is there any secret metric that you track every day that you feel like no other dealers are tracking this? This is what's very helpful in my success. Any specific reports that you look at daily that you feel like is a real game changer to give you perspective? Or
no, I really don't have an answer for that. I mean, I know daily I check their leads. RG will be like, our leads are up or leads are down. You could pretty much go off of the success of how many cars you want to sell based on the leads.
What's the highest commission check you've ever cut to a salesperson?
The highest commission check to a salesperson, we've had some guys make, and gals, in the 20,000 range. This month I had multiple salespeople like 20,000 plus. I pay a lot of gross, probably too much. Our top percentage at 12.5 cars pays 35% on the front end. I do aggressive bonuses. I do a fast start bonus through the 14th of the month, and I do a strong close, which that bonus there. And what I started doing at the new car stores that I worked for, the bonuses was set up for a person.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to change that to a team dynamic. So we pay 4 positions. And by doing that, when someone gets off to a great lead, everybody else don't lay down. And then you have people trying to help each other by saying, hey, you're really close to hitting that bonus. I think you should pay 4 spots. So it's like, what do you got to get? I even got salespeople that'll call people for people, try to get them in the door to help them hit a bonus. Now, obviously, we don't let them, split deals and do anything manipulative like that. Hoping a lot of people doing nothing like that. But what I see, I don't see that there. I really try to get the team aspect, which is very hard because it's an eco business. And it's hard to get excited for the person beside you that sells car when you're in a competition and you go backwards when they do it.
Interesting. So how many calls a day do you think your salespeople are actually making in-house?
That's a tough question for me to make.
It's okay. If you're not totally sure, we can skip it.
The number on that, and someone say, being correct. Because where I'm on the road, the auction, so my day started yesterday. Actually, Monday night, I left here at 4, drove to Nashville, got a room, was up at 6:40, at the auction at 7, went to one auction, drove across town with the second auction, and got home at 9:15 at night. So that Monday afternoon through Tuesday night, I didn't see anything at work. I could tell you what happened other than delaying with her team, and what I see on cameras. But I got cameras watching cameras here. So we have audio. So a lot of times I'll be in my truck at an auction waiting to the auction starts, pop in and literally can listen, see what's going on. Got a real pulse for what's happening in the dealership. But the call question, I don't want to tell you wrong.
Talk to me about auctions. You're buying all of the vehicles to stock the dealership?
Yes, I purchased 100% of the vehicles. I've been able to get street purchases lately, which I love because it helps offset some of the ones we pay at the auction. Plus, I get a better chance to check them out, and our team, we can put samples on them. But yes, 100% of the cars are purchased by me, and I go to independent auctions, Odessa auctions, Manheim auctions.
What do you think your average ACV is?
my average ACV. I know over the last Q1 and Q2, my average sale price, my actual transaction price is right at $13,000.
Okay.
And that was on over $1,000. So we do sell some trucks, but one thing, and actually I'm going to give credit to Luke and them with the podcast that I listen to, and a lot of with car dealership guy. I went to an affordability model about 18 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I put their ACV way down and really started focusing on what people could afford. And, we're seeing people come into the dealership now, and it happened last week. We have people with multiple, you can tell they used to have amazing credit. They had multiple $1,000 car loans. And they're like, look, we're letting these go back. We need a dependable car to get us through because, this can't work. And I'm seeing a whole lot of that.
And so listening to the feedback helps you figure out what you're going to pick up at the auction.
100%.
Yeah.
I purchased 100% of our sold photos so I could see, I know when the vehicle comes in, and that helps me know when the vehicle leaves. And I can also see what, the spikes in SUVs, cars, vans, what, the trends that we're seeing. And that helps me be able to understand from some at the auction what we need to replace it with, knowing what just left. I can delegate that. But as soon as I delegate that, I'm going to be taking away one of my key metrics to be able to replace the inventory.
What would you give? So there are a lot of dealers that have been with credit acceptance for quite some time. And then there's a lot of dealers that are just getting started with them. What advice would you have across the board for dealers working with CAC, how to be successful with credit acceptance?
My advice for people that deal with CAC, and actually any of them, they're used, pre-owned, independent, large. We start all of our deals. We pull credit through CAPS, which is super cheap. So if you don't pull your credit through CAPS, I recommend you change that because you can save, on the volume we're dealing, I've probably saved $3,000 a month versus using, I don't want to name their names.
That's fine. You don't have to.
Other credit companies. And what that does, that's $3,000 that I can directly put right back in social media. I get the same data. The credit bureau is great. And if you start the deal in CAPS, I take it straight step. Even if they're amazing or they're terrible, if I don't see a way, I go straight step forward on every deal. And then the goal is to find a vehicle to show them, start getting tips. I start working my deal off that call, which is a lot of people will be like, why? Well, my thing is if I can close on that call, and then I fight to get the best call with the other 20 lenders we got, whoever I think that I can funnel that deal to. And that leads us to the most profitable transaction.
Was there any other tips that you had on CAC? I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No, and the thing with CAC is people get all caught up in the gross. And gross is important. But if you're looking to grow the portfolio, you got to take deals. You can't just pick and choose the winners and losers. So how I look at it is to try to control wholesale loss at the auctions or taking cars to the auctions. If I can take a small deal, thin deal, or even a deal that I lose money on, I'm taking that deal. I'm gaining a customer. I'm gaining a doc fee. I'm gaining a service customer. I'm gaining the opportunity to build spider web for referrals. Sometimes I get a trade in. And that's key to me is keeping it all moving. Plus, the salespeople are putting marks on the board. The best time to take another up is the moment you just sell a car. So if I can keep that momentum, but so many people want to have just perfect deals. My biggest advice to a dealer trying to use credit acceptance is don't chase the perfect deals. Just make deals. Take all the deals.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah, I see that a lot too. And I think that as an underwriter for so long, that was something that I definitely had to learn to overcome, is that everything isn't going to be perfect. So quit waiting around. You're just paralyzing your success. you're paralyzing that sales board and you're paralyzing your salespeople and their motivation, their paycheck, their work ethic is getting frozen because you're waiting instead of taking on risk. Now, I got to ask you, you've been extremely successful with your model. Why have you decided that that was a better fit for you now anyway? Maybe that won't always be in the future, over the buy here, pay here model. I know we get into this, and Chris and I really get into this. All of those people that you finance through outside lending could have been on your books. You could have been the bank, and you could have, say, 1,000 people a month, all paying you on average $400 biweekly car payment. Why would you not want that profit? Is it a cash flow thing? Is it I don't want the headache? Where are you at with that?
For me, it's capital. Like I could leverage everything with all the properties. I go leverage, get the cash. At this point, I kind of view credit acceptance as I am doing buy here, pay here. They hire the collectors. I have no collection department. Mm-hmm. So, and one last thing I want to say on the credit acceptance is go to your resources tab in CAPS and look at your repos. Find your repos, see what auction they're going to. The biggest thing that I speak to so many dealers that they don't do is when your car is repoed and you have a good reconditioning policy, procedures, why would you want that car back? Like I go hunt that car down and check it out the auction. If it checks out, two things. Number one, I'm protecting my portfolio by not letting a large independent or small independent steal my trade. I'm getting my trade back. And then also I get a percentage of that money goes back in our pool. And that's one thing that I see that a lot of people don't even know that they can do it. They've been told, but they don't take time to check on that. But if buy here, pay here, I do see it in our future. I would have to, I reached out with, actually I'm going to get some advice from a mutual friend of ours that used to be in the buy here, pay here business plus yourself. And I want to try to build a template or set of game plan rules that I can strategically follow. And another thing to do, I'm building my reinsurance account. And that's where the money that in the future I'm going to use for buy here, pay here is I'm going to borrow against the reinsurance account, pay myself back the interest, put that money out with the accounts. And that's how I want to grow it versus going to get new mortgages and new debt.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to mention the CAPS thing because I thought that was your sort of something that you kept close to the chest, but I think that is going to be helpful.
I love helping people. There's so many dealers and I meet a lot of them. They don't really want to help. You're kind of their competition. And, I love helping people, love taking the questions. And I'm at the point in my life where I genuinely get enjoyment. Like you said, what do you buy for yourself? I don't buy anything for myself. But when I speak to a dealer and then I run into them 60, 90 days later and they're like, hey, I tried what you said and it really helped me. That's a priceless feeling for me. That's a joy that I love. I love it. I want to see everybody do great life.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, but you actually, I've witnessed you truly, truly, truly do that. What is the most brutally honest advice that you would give some new dealers in the business? And then I'll ask you about, current dealers, seasoned dealers.
New dealers in the business, stay out of debt as long as you can. If you're starting out, you have $50,000. Stay out of debt and don't hire people. Do it yourself until you make it. Don't hire people and then don't show up for work and then expect people that to live your dream for you because they're not having the same dream. Mm-hmm. You can want something, but you can't make someone else want it. And I see so many people, they go get the floor plans and they start it and they have great intentions. And then, then you look up in there at the lake and I get it, you have to live your life and enjoy family. And I'm not saying not to do that. But if you want to be an entrepreneur and self-employed, it's game on Monday through Sunday. And when your eyes are open, you're trying to outrun you're trying to make payroll. You're trying to pay the bills. Maybe you don't have payroll yet, but you still got to pay your lot insurance. You got to pay your rent. You've got to pay, workers' comp. When you start hiring people, there's so many things you got to do. And you have to be 1000% in. And if you're not, just work for somebody else and enjoy life. It's not going to work for you.
And as far as brutally honest advice that you would give seasoned dealers that are already have made what most would call success of their dealership, being that where you're at today, what advice would you give those seasoned dealers like yourself, like your peers?
Are you talking about people that are getting after the people that have franchise store and they stock 10 new cars and 20 used cars and they're just
either way. And maybe you don't have anything that comes to mind for them, and that's fine.
No, I can say exactly. So for people don't fall in love with your team, I love my team and I love team members, but at the end of the day, negativity will kill all momentum that you can try to create. And one thing that I went through that's really helped me is I had some people that I'm like, what would I do without this person or that person? We won't be able to make it. What am I going to do? Every single time that what am I going to do moment and that person's gone, they've left, we've gotten stronger. Maybe somebody comes in is not as talented, but if they're excited, excitement breeds excitement and new ideas. And plus it kind of it makes us go back to being a part of the team and we get more involved back at the game because we feel we got to step back in. That would be my advice is really just stay with positive people. And when you see it start to spiral out of control, just cut bait, move on. Okay.
Well, you are unstoppable. You are one of a kind. You are one of a kind. And it's so neat.
I feel like you are as well. That's why our business relationship has been so strong. And for the moment I met you, your drive, your posting, your work ethic is second to none. I love it. Glad you're on our team. You say, give me some advice for new dealers, old dealers. The best advice I can give anyone is everything that comes from waiting in line is bad. You've got to go after it. Don't wait around. Thinking about things, procrastinating. I used to work at those new car stores. They'd have meetings about meetings. And then the next thing you know, that opportunity's done, gone. Just go after it. Go get it.
No, that is one of the truest phrases ever spoken. Yeah, because people take so long to make a dang decision and time is just passing you right by and other people have already taken action. They're so much further ahead. Good, you're good. So if dealers did this one thing today so that they could sell more cars, what would it be?
We talk so much about the social media aspect. I think that's just the number one thing that comes to my mind. I've been doing this 31 years. I've never experienced anything other than a direct mail sale, which is over as quick as it starts. Social media, it just, the door just keeps coming. It just keeps opening. The phones keep ringing. The leads keep coming in. It just, that and obviously provide a great product. Service your cars, fix your cars. If somebody has a problem, make it right.
All right, Ricky, that was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a great day. And like I said, if there's anything that we need to redo, just tell me and we'll jump on and I'll retake or whatever.
All right, you're the best. See you soon. Bye.
Let's just be honest. Let's just be real.